Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, we will talk to you about the topic which is teenage pregnancy. Firstly, let me introduce to all of you about our group members. Firstly is Nur Atika Azahra binti Zaharin, Nur Khairunisa binti Muhammad, and me, Nur Fatihah binti Jantan. Let's see the contents about our topic. First is introduction. Second is signs of early detection. Third is roles of teacher. Fourth, causes of teenage pregnancy. Fifth is effect of teenage pregnancy, and last but not least, the conclusion. So I will explain to you about introduction and also signs of early detection. So first, I will explain about the introduction. What kind of introduction? The definition of teenage pregnancy. Before we go to this topic, we must know about the definition of teenage pregnancy itself. So teenage means the definition of teenage is relating to involving or intent for people between the age of 13 and 19, and pregnancy is described the period in which a fetus develops inside a woman's womb or uterus, and teenage pregnancy is pregnancy that occurs for a woman under the age of 20 and also a young woman 12 or under who is pregnant falls into this definition of teenage pregnancy as well, even though technically they are not categorized as a teenagers. Next, there are some newspaper cutting about teenage pregnancy that happen in Malaysia, because nowadays there are many issues about teenage pregnancy at the school, either in the primary school or also in the secondary school. So I show to you these two newspaper cutting from the Berita Harian and also from the Sinar Harian about the teenage pregnancy that happened at the school. Next is the statistic of teenage pregnancy that happened in Malaysia from 2014 until 2018. I got this statistic from the Ministry of Health Malaysia. As we know, this statistic is for the pregnancy that registered with the government health clinics only. So there are two types, which is married and also unmarried. As we can see, teenage pregnancy that happen because married is more than unmarried, so it's okay. And next, I will explain about signs of early detection. What kinds of signs of early detection that we must know? There are three signs of early detection for teenage pregnancy, which are first is have a problem at the school, emotional disorder, and pregnancy system. So the first sign is have a problem at the school. What kind of problem that they have at school? Which is first is often do not come to the school, do not do their homework, and come to the school wearing oversized school uniform. Why they often do not come to the school? Maybe because of they shy for their pregnancy, and they do not do their homework because of they do not have feelings to continue their study, and they come to the school wearing oversized school uniform because they want to hide their pregnancy. And secondly, emotional disorder. What kind of emotional disorder that they can get, which is depression, loneliness, and also self-harm. For the person who have emotional disorder, they can self-harm themselves with scratch on their body with a sharp object or carving words or symbols on the skin, and also they can self-hitting, punching, and also head banging at the door, at the wall, and so on. And the lastly is pregnancy symptoms. As we know, there are many kind of pregnancy symptoms, such as vomiting, or we know as a morning sickness, lightheaded, and also swelling belly. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, now we move to the roles of teacher. Teacher plays an important role in students' life at schools, especially in educating them. For students that face pregnancy at schools, they have some steps, action, and ways to overcome taken by the teachers to help them. And after teachers knowing about the student's sign that the student was pregnant at school, the first action that needs to be taken by the teacher is bring the students to the counseling room to have an individual counseling session. At this time, teachers need to calm down the students first, so the students will express their feeling to tell why that's happened and so on. But it is quite hard for teachers to know what the students will feel in the first session. They need to have many skills and tools to persuade the students. For example, by asking the students to draw, give something and others ways to know why and what it is happening with them. Second, the case was in school, and the teachers also need to inform and refer to the school administration, and also inform her parents about this problem. And in this case, if the parents do not want to take care of their daughter's problem, teachers or counselor need to play their role to take care of these students by giving them motivation, supporting them, to not make them down, depressed, and do something that will harm themselves. And the third one, the school administration needs to report to the JKM in confidential about these students. It is because students that below 18 years old need to refer to the JKM, and they will act about this student, whether they want to bring this student to rumah pengasuh or anywhere, to make sure that these students are safe and in a good condition. After this, teachers only need to always give advice, monitoring and observing these students at school. And the last action or steps or ways to overcome the students that pregnant at schools are by guiding the students to improve their behavior. Because we as teacher afraid that the students will do the same thing. So teachers need to help the students, need to guide the students to make sure that they are in the right path. For example, teacher help the student to think rationally what they did is right or wrong, give benefit to them or hard for them. Teachers does not give advice to the students. No, teachers cannot do that. Teachers need to help them to decide what is good and bad for them. The students need to decide for them. So teachers need to open their mind to make sure that the students see the good thing. In this also, teacher must put some Islamic perspective for them. Teachers put some Islamic perspective to them to make them realize that everything happened for a reason. They can turn back to the right path again and improving their behavior. And this part is very important because everyone will blame them. Everyone will judge, criticize and hate them. So teachers need to play their role, really play their role and always beside them, to support them to be a good person in the future, to continue be a good person. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, now I'll proceed to the causes of teenage pregnancy. The first one is lack of parental supervision. This may be because of family problems that occur in the teenager's life, and such as divorce or loss of parents, physical and mental abuse of the teenager, as well as problems that may arise among the siblings. So for teenagers that living in troubled family, their way of life will be different from the teenagers living with family members whose lives are happy and harmonious. So the way they socialize with society is also different, might be different from other teenagers. These things will cause them to feel the lack of love from the family members, and at the same time make them to get the love from other people. Okay, the next one is peer influences. As we can see that most teenagers spend more time with their friends rather than their own family, as they consume more time at school than at their home. So this causes many things to be done together with their friends, including sharing and doing activities together. So teenagers will easily to follow all the things that their friends do, including having a lover and so on. So these teenagers will love to go out with their lovers until they tend to do the forbidden act, which is the sexual relationship, until they get pregnant. The next cause is social media. We know that social media plays an important role in teenagers' life nowadays. As you can see, nowadays children as young as 2 years old are already good at surfing and browsing their own website without the help from the adults. And what more, the teenagers who have already grown up. Moreover, the internet and technology such as smartphones will make it easy for the teenagers to use it, because every piece of information just at their fingertips. So it also may lead them to browse and search for inappropriate sites, such as pornographic sites and so on. And as we know, teenagers who are growing up tend to do something new that will cause them to be caught having sex until they become pregnant. And the next one is financial problem or poverty. There are teenagers out there who are willing to sell their bodies as a way to earn money easily. They sell themselves to men who are willing to pay without thinking of all the possibilities that will happen next. They are blinded by the value of the money that is actually lower than their own dignity, until they feel comfortable doing it over and over again, which unknowingly makes them pregnant, and at the same time ruin and destroys their own future. Okay, the next one is lack of knowledge. Many teenagers nowadays lack of the religious knowledge and also the sexual reproductive health knowledge. Many of them do not have the solid and basic knowledge of Fardu Ain and Fardu Kifayah. There are also teenagers out there who do not have the basic knowledge of their reproductive system, because some of them still believe that by doing the sex relationship for the first time, they will not get pregnant. And this is become worrisome to the community and the society nowadays. The last one is sexual abuse. Pregnancies also can be occur due to sexual abuse, which is out of their will, out of the teenagers' will, such as the experience of rape and so on. So, for this situation, it is not an offense for the teenager, because they are just the victims of the men who are irresponsible and very great. And if this happens, this teenager will have to undergo certain processes as follow-up treatment to restabilize their emotions and mental. Now, the effects of teenage pregnancy. The first one is the mental health of the teenager will be disturbed. They will experience stress, anxiety, depression, and so on if they find out that they are pregnant, and they become clueless whether to tell their family members or not. So the society, and plus the society in our country is very sensitive regarding this issue, that cause the teenagers to become ashamed, guilty, and depressed, so that it can lead them to do unreasonable things such as taking drugs and also committing suicide. And the next one is physical health problems might be occur throughout pregnancy and after birth, such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and so on. So the teenager will face these problems at a young age, because this often happens to pregnant mothers who experience their first time of pregnancy. The third one is high potential for death. Teenage girls aged 15 years old and below who give birth are at risk 5 times more likely to die than adult women aged 20 years old. They also highly tend to have anemia after the delivery because teenage bodies do not have solid immune system yet at the moment. Okay, next, complication on baby. Not only the mother has the potential to experience various complications, but also to the baby that will be born soon. So usually such cases will display a situation where the pregnant teenager gave birth earlier than expected or less than 37 weeks. That this will cause the baby to have a weight problem of less than 2.5 kg, and basically teenagers who give birth will have no experience in managing infants, which may lead them to overlook many things such as in terms of their safety, of the baby safety, the health of the baby, and so on. So most babies who are in this situation will get sick or even worse, die because they do not get proper and adequate health care. Financial problems will also happen during pregnancy and also after the pregnancy, after birth. The needs of the baby to be born are expensive, which need to cut more expenses of the teenager's family so that it can cause the teenager to drop out of school and she or the family cannot afford to pay school fees and so on. This will affect the future of the teenager because she cannot continue her studies and get a good job to support herself and the child who will grow up. And the sixth effect is break the family relationship. The family relationships will be destroyed, especially between the teenager and her parents. And of course, the parents of the teenager will be very hurt and ashamed to face such a test which is the pregnancy news. And they will definitely be disappointed and heartbroken by the behavior of their daughter, by behavior of the teenager, which tarnishes the family's good name. As a result, some parents are willing to drive away their daughters from home to avoid mocks and insults from the surrounding community. The next one is baby dumping. To avoid the news of the pregnancy being known by the family members or close relatives, many teenagers take the easy way out by dumping the baby in various ways, including taking abortion without the supervision of a doctor who will endanger themselves. And there are also those who are willing to throw their babies at inappropriate places such as toilets, drains, at the roadside, and so on. Last one is get punishment. The teenagers who found guilty of being pregnant without marriage will be punished accordingly based on Sharia Criminal Code 1985. They will be fined or imprisonment,
and after that they will be placed at the shelters.
In conclusion, I would say that teenage pregnancy is not a new problem in our society, but the important thing is this matter needs attention from all the society, from all the community, and should not let it pass unnoticed. This is a big issue, a worldwide issue, and many of the teenagers still do not understand how this matter may not only affect their childhood, but also their child's future. Hence, girls who are involved in teenage pregnancy must be guided by others, such as their parents, their friends, and also their teachers, so that they will not jump into the wrong path again.